All right, welcome everybody today. Do it with me. 10, bam. All right, welcome everybody today. Do it with me. 10, bam. Day 10, welcome everybody to day 10 of the Sam, why? Welcome to day 10 of the Brand Me Bootcamp. Today is the last day. It is the grand finale. So if you see me up here live on Facebook, come on over and join us by going to Nowsite.online. This is the part where you turn your cameras on, because if you're watching the recording, we love you too. Let's wave to everybody who's watching the recording. Ready? Hi. Yay. We love you guys too. We wish you were here with us live. All right. So day 10 is the grand finale. It's going to be awesome. We have Adrian Chenault here with us to present day 10, but we also have Elizabeth Larson. Not that we don't love you too, Adrian, but give it up for the ladies. We have Elizabeth Larson here who is going to share alongside of Adrian today for day 10. But, you know, before they get started, I'm going to get through kind of like, you know, all of the stuff that you need to know. Then we'll get into the, I don't know why they call it the meat and potatoes. And I don't even like that saying, but I just said it. So we're going to roll with it. Okay. Thanks, Mo. I appreciate the smile. Made me feel a little bit better. Okay. All right. Let's hop to it. We're here at day 10, which is duplicating your success. So we're going to hear from Elizabeth, yay, and Adrian too, as well today for day 10. So if you're here for the Brand Me Bootcamp, guess what? You made it. You're in the right place. You did it. If you're eligible for the $39 rebate, well, you'll fill in your code word within 72 hours at brandme.now.site. Everything's updated for day 10 except the video and the chat. So you have the presentation, you have the workbook, and you have the code words where you can fill it in. You can go to brandme.now.site. You're ready to get your hands on Now AI. There's only 3 days left. So, I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it. But if you're ready to get your hands on Now AI, you can run on over to nowai.now.site if you are a current customer of Nowsite. Unless, of course, you like paying more for things later. I mean, I get that too. Sure thing. Go ahead if you feel like waiting. But you can go to nowai.now.site if you are a current customer and lock in the discounted price. That offer ends on the 10th. That's like 3 days away. Have you ever met one of those people where you're like, you know, they're like, oh, we'll get to the airport. We'll make it. It'll be okay. Let's wait till the last second. And you're like, no, can we leave now? Anytime. I want to be that person that gets there and I know that I'm there and I'm waiting for the plane. There's always that person that waits until the last second. I am your 3 hour before friend. I'm giving you the push to get in the car. We're going to go right now. We're going to make it. We're going to get on the plane. We're going to get to the event. So nowai.now.site, get there. All righty. If you are a brand new customer, you can get Now AI plus 50% off marketing or unlimited when you take advantage of our pre-launch special. So what you're going to do here, if you're brand new, you're not a part of Nowsite at all, you're going to run back to the person that invited you and maybe run with your fingers, run with your feet, whatever it takes, right across that keyboard. Hello, thank you so much. I love everything that I see here. I want to be a part of this. They're going to send you their referral link. You're going to choose the plan that suits you best, marketing or unlimited, and you're going to use code AI. That gets you 50% off marketing or unlimited and locks you into Now AI for our beta launch, which is August 10th. That's in 3 days. You want to make sure that you take advantage of it. Today is the last and final day of our boot camp. I don't know if you loved it as much as I have, but my favorite number is 5. Drop me a 5 if you've had the most amazing time at our boot camp ever. Drop me lots and lots of 5s here in the chat. Yes. All right, sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, your cup of cocoa. I'm here to introduce you to our VP of Business of Development, Adrian Schnall, and the one and only Head of Coaching and Training, Elizabeth Larson. On over to you guys. Thanks.
Helps if you unmute. Hello, hello, hello. Let me get Elizabeth up here with me. And it is great to be with all of you today. And Elizabeth, it's especially good to be with you. Not everyone knows this, but Elizabeth she crushed it as our MC at our amazing event in Las Vegas. And she was so happy at the end of the event. She was like, how could I celebrate? I think I'm going to do a front flip. And so she got into the lobby at the Rio Hotel and she's like, yeah. And she did this front flip, but she landed on her head. And all of that is not true except the part where she landed on her head, because there was a freaking tear in the carpet at the hotel and the poor thing had a huge wipeout. And so she was out of commission all of last week. She was begging me to keep getting on these trainings because she hates missing out on this stuff. And thank God, Elizabeth, you're feeling well enough to ride co-pilot with me today. And so welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. You can't keep me away from trainings, man.
You're looking good, you're sounding good, and I know you're feeling a lot better. And so I'm so glad to have you back with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited for today's training. We've done a lot of work on this. Are you ready to go?
I am, except I just shared it the wrong way. So I got to share it the right way. Hold on. I think I got it. All right. Y'all see that? We good? All right. All right. All right. So today is the last day. Let me know how you're feeling about that in the chat. We're going to miss, this has been fun. This has been really, really good. And we've learned so much. And I feel like we've all grown together. And I feel like I've gotten to know so many of you better. And so it's bittersweet, but we have had quite the journey. It has been awesome. And you all have been awesome. And so here's my question for you. I want you to share your favorite emoji, the one that you like to use the most. I want you to share your favorite emoji in the chat right now. And I'm going to share mine with you in a minute and tell you why that is significant here in a second. But I want to see yours. So let me know your favorite emoji. Put it in the chat right now. Socks. I like the socks, the heart. We got a couple different versions of the heart. We got some smiley faces. Tanya, I like yours. I use that one a bunch too. The little party little thingy is awesome. We got a blue heart, some fire, an angel. Okay, we got all kinds of good stuff. All right. Nice. Cory.
I don't know. I'm going to take a wild guess what yours is, but I think I saw it in there.
You are my kind of girl, or that's a little clue. I like this surfer. That's awesome. So definitely my favorite in terms of most used by far. I love this guy. And today is day 10. So I had to claim day 10 because that's a high 10 in my book. Today is day 10. And I love all the different emojis that we have going on in here today. It has been a fantastic journey that we have been on up until this point. Over the last 9 days, you have gotten all the tools you need to build an amazing personal brand. And it's been so fun watching all of you showing your true colors, showing your hero story, starting to play that out in a bigger and bigger way. It's been inspiring and it's been cool to see so many breakthroughs and so many great things happen there. And one of the things that's the most rewarding to me, I know it is for Cheryl too, and for you, Elizabeth, is we get to hear some of these kind of sidebar stories of the transformations that are happening, right?
Exactly. I mean, and I think that's the neatest thing about this is really seeing people's lives transform, see their businesses transform, and see that aha moment where they got that light bulb and it's like, oh, I finally get it. Like, that's huge, Adrian.
It's so huge. And so today is the day for us to tie this all together. And so now that you have created that personal brand, now that you are building your own momentum, today our job is to show you how to duplicate your success. That is where you go from maybe playing at a really high level in single player mode to multiplayer, right? This is where you really start to take off. And as a leader, duplication is the essential ingredient to creating that long-term success, to creating something that's bigger than just you, that goes beyond just your own efforts in being on what can sometimes feel like a treadmill or a hamster wheel, and you're having to run faster and faster just to keep up, and turning this thing into that snowball that grows and grows and grows as it rolls down the mountain. That is what we are looking to do, because without duplication, you can create some success through your own efforts, but you lack leverage. You lack that ability to extend the power that you're creating beyond yourself. And so when leverage comes into play, suddenly now I'm able to move far beyond what my own efforts or my own power could do. And I'm doing that through the power of helping others to create their own success. That's what's so beautiful about this. So we got to start off by talking about what is duplication, what it is, and also what it isn't. Mm-hmm. So duplication is about making things simple for your team members. Duplication helps you. Duplication helps the most people to have success by following a system. And when you really know you nailed it, is that true duplication occurs when that system, you can transmit that system to somebody on your team, but it's so clear that they're able to transmit it and to teach it to the next person down the line. That is where magic occurs. But I think there's a couple of things that sometimes when we talk about duplication that can maybe get a little confusing, or maybe we misconstrue a little bit about what that is. So Elizabeth, can you talk about what duplication is? Oh, what just happened? My thing is not playing nicely with me today. So we've got to talk about what duplication is not as well, in order for us to make sure that we don't get caught up in some misconceptions about what that means.
Exactly. And this is actually a place that I've personally seen teams fail in. And if you get this concept, it's going to like set you guys free. It's really, really huge. So let's talk a minute about what duplication is not. Duplication is not everybody doing the exact same thing, the exact same way, in the sense of, I have to be Sylvia. Sylvia's gorgeous, but I'm not Sylvia. I'm Elizabeth. So my branding is going to be a little bit different than Sylvia's is. My branding is going to be different. What duplication is about a simple set of systems that everybody can take off and run with. But it doesn't mean that I'm losing my personality. It doesn't mean that I'm losing my particular passion for the way that I want to build. It doesn't mean that, I'll give you a quick example. I knew this leader who insisted that everybody build in her center, that everybody had to have their meetings there, everybody. And this young lady wanted to do a home meeting and a mommy and me, she was an essential oil person. She wanted to do mommy and me meetings. And the leader actually told her, no, that's not the system that we use here. We all do this. So you have to do this. She actually left and quit the business and went to somewhere else, became successful in the other company. But we don't want to water down who we are for the sake of duplication. Duplication is about the system being so simple that I can pick Sam here and I can say, Sam, these are the steps that we take. Now allow your personality and your branding to come out of that and let your light shine of who you are. So and especially with the branding bootcamp and talking about personality and talking about duplication, I really want you to be clear on your branding is who you are. It's who you're representing to the world. But that doesn't mean that when you sign up, let's say so I've got Kathy Mays here. I'm going to sign up Kathy Mays. That doesn't mean that I make her have my branding. Kathy's branding is going to be all about her and her passion and her personality and stuff. But the systems that we use will be the same because the systems themselves will be duplicatable. And we're going to talk more about that. Back over to you, Adrian.
So that duplication is fundamentally about that simplicity. It doesn't mean that everybody has to be one size fits all. It doesn't mean that you have to step away from the uniqueness that you have tapped into in what you have created over the last 9 days. And in fact, it means you shouldn't.
Right.
What it does mean is that you have to model the simplicity of how you got there in a way that's going to help others to do the same thing.
Exactly.
That is the key.
Right.
So this is a really important big idea. In order to be duplicatable, being an expert is your enemy.
Yep.
Being an expert is your enemy. And this is I think this is one of the most counterintuitive things that is in relation to building a team that's hard to get your hands around at first. It's hard to get used to that. And you might not even necessarily understand exactly why. So Elizabeth, talk a little bit more about that.
So here's the thing, I remember the first network marketing company that I was building, and they insisted that you go to this $1,200 training and this other training and this other training and stuff like that, because you had to be an expert at all this stuff. And ultimately what it did is I got so caught up in learning to try to be the expert, I wasn't really working on my business. The other thing that happened though is that it became so unduplicatable that people who couldn't go to those additional trainings and all these other big things, they weren't able to do it. And so they just kind of like, well, I guess I can't do this. Here's the thing. The other thing that being the expert causes is that everybody is running to you. So let's say Kat is here. If Kat is the expert and she makes everybody on her team know that she's the expert, I'm not going to try to learn anything. I'm just going to say, oh, Kat this, Kat that, Kat. Now Kat's business is about doing everything for everybody else. And I don't feel like I really ever gained the confidence. But if the system that we've implemented is super easy, what's going to end up happening is Kat's going to say, these are the 3 steps we do. I'm going to take you through those 3 steps as I enroll you, as I'm working with you. You're going to just do these 3 steps. Perfect. Now go teach somebody else those 3 steps. They're so easy that I can pick them up and I can say, I can do that. Because all Kat's showing me is the thing that's easy. If Kat keeps showing me the thing that's easy, I'm like, I think I could actually be like Kat. But if somebody's trying to be the expert, the very first thing I'm going to ask myself is, can I do that? Can I learn all that? Can I be that? And if the answer is no, you've lost your person already. And that's such a disservice to them, because honestly, if you make it simple enough, you've given them the opportunity to create a better life and a better income very easily. So that's what I would say about being an expert. It's totally the enemy to your business.
That's exactly right. And this is a beautiful thing, because what it teaches you how to do is it doesn't mean you shouldn't know the answers.
Right.
It just means that your job is, even when you know the answers, to transmit them through the team, through the system. I want to give 2 quick examples of this. Cheryl actually talked about this on Friday. It was so perfect. She talked about, people ask me all the time, what's the code word? What's this? What's that? And instead of giving the answer, of course she knows the answer to those questions, but she doesn't. She says, here's where you go and find it, because that way next time maybe you don't have to ask. And that way next time when somebody on your team asks you, instead of you just giving them the answer, you point them to the resource. The person who I know who is better at this than anybody is on here now, which is awesome. And that's my dad. He is the king of letting the hot mess part of Tom Chenault show bright as day. And trust me, he knows a lot of stuff. He knows way more than sometimes he lets on, but he knows that if it's the Tom show, if it's all about what he knows, that imagine when you have literally 1 million people in your organization, if everyone thinks, well, Tom just knows the answer, I better just call Tom, that sounds terrible, right? And so you don't want, even if you could, you don't want to do that, because you are going to create for yourself a prison of people constantly asking you 1 million questions that they don't need you to answer for them. The system can answer it for them, and it teaches them to think like them for themselves. It teaches them to grow. And so the way that you do that is through creating these systems. The way to do that is to set up systems that are going to support you and don't require the person. That's going to give you freedom, and it's going to help your people to achieve more success. Sanella hit the nail on the head. System dependable, not person dependable, right? We don't want, you've ever heard somebody say, what happens if so-and-so gets hit by a bus, right? You don't want to have to get hit by a bus. You want to go move to a private island and still have your business run. But that same principle applies. It has to be able to run without you to a large degree, or you're never going to have the freedom that you're looking to create by being an entrepreneur.
And one thing real quick in there to think about is that the danger that we run into in this is that we like being the expert because it makes us feel good. We like being the expert sometimes because, it grows, it gives us confidence and everything else. The problem is, just like Adrienne said, if you are the expert and you take a vacation and you turn your phone off, your people feel abandoned. And then it causes even more chaos. So it's so important just to have those systems instead of attempting to be the expert. And there's so many other ways to gain that confidence, and we'll teach you those, through DBA and the other things that are coming here. But really, systems are the most important thing.
Absolutely right. So your team members need to see that you can show them what to do. So you're leading first by example, showing them that you are capable, that you know what to do and how to do it. And then even more importantly, they need to believe they can follow your example, right? And there's something that I learned from Cheryl very early on when I first started working with her that I have used over and over again since. And I think this is a perfect illustration of how this works and how you can do the same thing. So give me a yes in the chat if you have ever noticed Cheryl do this on a demo or a training that she does on how to use Nowsite. She will go at the beginning of the training, all right, if at any point in this process, I do something that you think to yourself, oh, that's just because Cheryl's an expert in marketing, that's the only reason that she could do it, I couldn't do it. You have to stop me right there and say, hey, no, don't do that. You're doing something that I couldn't do myself. You need to stop me, because this system and this tool is so simple that no matter whether this is the first time you've ever done anything marketing or whether you've been experienced your entire life, you can do this. It takes that level of stepping back and taking yourself out of the spotlight so that you have people in your team believing that they can do what you do, along with a whoosh. That's right. So she does that, and then she whooshes a couple of things, and it's a beautiful thing, right? So they've got to feel that, they've got to see that, and that's a brilliant way, and it's a great way for you as well to even prime yourself to get out of that thing. Because I will tell you, I am like the most guilty person of all. I want people to think I'm smart. That was like my whole brand growing up. I was like the nerd that no girls talked to me. I never got picked for the sports team, but I got good grades. So that was like my whole value in life. And I've had to unlearn that thing. I've had to unlearn how to take myself out of the spotlight and instead use those systems, because that is where people get unstuck and where everybody rises together instead of it needing to just be about.
Exactly.
So, put it in the chat. What are some of the key actions that you must take in order to build your business? What are some of the things that you need to be doing consistently in order to grow your business? Like the building blocks. What are some of those key things? I want to see them in the chat. Having conversations. Yep. Waking up early. Nice. That's a good one. I like that. Pipeline, social media presence. Yes. Create a simple duplicatable system. Plan, making friends, posting daily. Love this. Keep it coming. Make training a priority. Build relationships, engagement, follow up. Social media, reaching out, being an example. Listen from the heart. Nice. Make time for it. So good. Get a system. Stay healthy. There you go. I like that. That's a huge one. Staying consistent. Learning how to use Nowsite yourself. Listen, consistency. Love it. So many good ones. And I love, you can see some of these themes emerging. And so let's just take an example, right? Maybe you have gotten to be really great at producing content on social media. Maybe you have gotten to be really great at reaching out to people and starting conversations with strangers or with people who you already know or whatever, right? You know, Blake Stir and I were having this great conversation in Vegas because he's made a whole career out of doing that. He's become a sales psychology coach, right? So we have these things that we're great at. And so then our job is, how do we take those things, even the things that we're good at, especially the things that we're good at, and how can you simplify those approaches so others can follow your lead? So you may be able to play an instrument beautifully in a way that just seems second nature, but can you then take a step back and show someone how they can take the first step? Can you show your work? Can you show them how they can take a step towards doing the same thing? Because then instead of them just being amazed by how good whatever it is that you're doing is, instead they're seeing behind the curtain. They're able to see how they can do that for themselves. So I want you to think specifically about that. One of the things that you shared, what is something that you could do to be able to explain or to simplify or to show people in your team how to do that more simply? Because if you are able to start to teach that, that is the beginning of that process of duplication. One of the big ways to show this is to show your team how they can do what you do. And that's a learned skill in itself. And Peg, it's funny you said that. So Peg put in the chat, dumb it down. And in a way that's true, but in a way it's not. And I want to, and I don't want to pick on you because I think that was a really great comment, and you set me up a little bit to be able to talk about this, because it isn't about dumbing it down per se. It's about breaking it down as opposed to dumbing it down, right? Because we don't want to water it down. We just want to make it more bite-sized. I did a training this morning and we were talking, and I'll come to you in a second. Sorry, I got on a roll here. But I did a training this morning. We were talking about sending video clips. And I could have done a training about, like, you need to have this presence and you need to do all this stuff on how you do a video clip. But where we needed to start in that training was, where do you look on your phone to make sure that it looks like you're making eye contact with the person? How do you actually, like, where's the button you press on, can you do it on the side of your phone or on the front of your phone? So breaking it down to those simple things that might feel like dumbing it down in the moment, but they're actually not. They're just breaking it down and remembering that at one point, even figuring out how to do that thing on your phone or on social media, that those were hard. And you have to remember back that you started from that place too. And so it's breaking it down and bringing it back to that place, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, that's huge, because especially as we grow as leaders, one of the things that we get into is that we almost forget what it was like when we first started. We almost forget that first step. And so Sarah Robbins, who is the #1 income earner in Rodan and Fields, 8-figure earner, amazing woman. She wrote a book called Rock Your Network Marketing Business. And something that she talks about that I actually learned from her through a conversation with her is that the very thing she does is training begins the very moment that they say yes, not the moment that they've signed up, the moment that they've said yes to the opportunity. So the very first thing she does, so she makes everything simple and duplicatable, is she will actually have them on a Zoom, if they're not in person, and have them walk through signing up with her right there. Why is that? So many times we'll give somebody a link and say, okay, we'll sign up, or go buy the product, sign up. And what ends up happening is sometimes they don't, or they get confused, or they get lost, or something like that. And her philosophy is that from that day moment, she's taking them through everything, doing it themselves while she's there with them, because then it actually helps that person do the exact same thing with their next person. So when the person says, how do I sign somebody up? She'll look at the person and say, how did I sign you up? And she'll say, well, you're on a Zoom with me. And I walk through it. She says, perfect. That's what you're going to be doing for your person. So that training comes from day one. The title of the book is Rock Your Network Marketing Business, and it's by Sarah Robbins. And so that's what we're talking about with simplicity. You want to make things, that doesn't mean that this person builds in person and this person builds on social media. What it is everybody's doing that same thing of when I'm getting ready to even sign up my affiliate, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get on a Zoom together. I'm going to walk them through every step so they know exactly what to do with the next person when they go and get ready to sign somebody up. Back to you, Adrian.
And so this is what it is, right? It's showing your team how they can do what you do. And that's a learned skill, but it's something that we have been thinking really deeply about as we have been moving towards this rollout of AI. And so this is what's so exciting is that, and I've even seen this in the chat along the way, right? With Now AI, we have built this into the design of what we have created for you to make that easier than ever, to give you something that is literally designed not just to give you success, but to allow you to be able to show people exactly what you do, because it's not reliant on you being the world's foremost expert in marketing, in social media, in sales communication, in any of these things, because you are using the system and then you're showing others how to do that same system, right? So your team, they need to, I don't know what is going on with PowerPoint. It's just like it's like 5 clicks sometimes. Your team needs to be creating content to grow their business, right? Your team needs to be able to be posting consistently. That's going to be the top of that funnel for them, or maybe the foundation for them to be able to start creating success for themselves. And Now AI is going to make that easy, right? You don't have to say, oh, you need to go take this course, you need to go learn this, you need to go and learn that. Now AI is going to hold their hand and help them to get where they need to go.
Yeah.
Your team needs to be able to engage with others' content online, especially at the beginning, right? If I don't have a lot of influence yet, part of how my influence is going to build and my audience is going to build is going to be by engaging meaningfully with others' content online. And again, that's something that might come natural to you today. It doesn't always come natural at first. Now AI can help them to do that too. So you're, again, point them to the tool, point them to the tool, point them to the tool, right? Your team needs help with the right way to respond to prospects, right? Now I'm starting to post stuff, I'm engaging, people are starting to engage with me, they're asking me questions. And what's the first thing that happens? I panic because I don't know what to say. I'm like, I got one on the hook here. And maybe you yank it and you pull the hook out of the fish's mouth, or you don't know what to do. And so instead, Now AI is going to be able to help them with figuring out what to say. And now they're pointing at a tool that can help them so that they don't need to ask you. And that's great news for you because it's going to allow you to create more leverage, but it's great news for them too, because now they're not thinking, well, now I have to become the expert for the next person in line, and I don't feel like an expert yet. Instead, we all have this shared expertise that we can all tap into together. It's systematized.
And imagine how much faster your confidence is going to build because of that, because you're not trying to, oh my gosh, how am I going to say this? What am I going to do? You have the tool not only to help yourself, but then you also have the tool to point to your people. So when you sign somebody up, it becomes a confidence builder. It's like, oh, well, we just have the system. I don't have to know everything. And that sets you free to really be able to have those conversations and just build your business in confidence. So that's huge.
That is huge. And I wasn't planning to talk about this, but this is that I think you hit on something else there that's important, which is the goal of this is not that you just completely switch off your brain, or that anybody else completely switches off their brain and that they never learn how to do any of these things themselves. What this is it's a guide where you're able to learn from what this tool is helping you to do. And sooner rather than later, it's going to become second nature for you. And maybe you don't need the tool as often, or maybe what you naturally were going to respond anyway was you check what the tool says and it gives you almost the exact same language or the same answer. And then you're getting more comfortable, and you're getting comfortable having these conversations in person. And so this is beautiful because these are the training wheels, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we have to feel like we have to rely on the tool 100% forever, but it's moving us through to a place where it's saving us time, where it's showing us the right thing to do, and where we can learn from those experiences to when it becomes second nature for us.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing is, as you're looking at this and you're seeing these messages and you're reading these messages, you're going to start internalizing what this is teaching you. And you're going to find times where you're like, I know exactly what it's already going to say, and you're going to put that in there, and you're going to get the exact same kind of message, and it's going to even be a bigger confidence builder. So,
absolutely. And the last thing I think is maybe the biggest of all, which is that so much of the time we're stuck because we just don't know what to do, right? And so maybe then I just end up spending all my time doing training and not taking action, or I just stop because the confused mind does nothing. And so your team needs to know the right actions to take every day to reach their goals. And again, you're going to have support. Your team is going to have support knowing what are the right actions to take every day. And that's peace of mind for you. It's peace of mind for them. And again, it's not reliant on any one person. It's systematized so that you are able to do that. You don't have to be the expert anymore because you can point your team to the system. That is so, so powerful. And so we're getting this system in place. And there's really one more key ingredient that is absolutely necessary to be able to make this thing take off like a rocket. And so I want to know in the chat, you've got the system. What's the final ingredient to really take this thing to the next level? Can you guess what it is? Let's see what the guesses are. Consistency, me, take action, use it, people, keep it simple, system. I love it. Consistency, be you, love it. All right, feed the funnel. I haven't seen it yet, Elizabeth.
I haven't seen it yet either.
All right,
These are all good.
Feeling Brigitte is on the right track. Oreos. Oreos are almost always the right answer.
It's not Oreo cookies.
All right, Elizabeth, drum roll. You tell them it is
community. Now, here's the thing. Why would it be community? Consistency is important. Absolutely 100%. But have you ever tried to become consistent in something by yourself? How many people have started a diet by yourself, didn't tell anybody, it lasted a day, right? How many people have tried to do an exercise program? I'm going to be consistent in having 10 conversations with people every single day, and yet you did it by yourself. How long does that last? The truth is that any consistency, anything that we do works faster and better and will dramatically increase the team stickiness when you do it in community. Now, I was talking about this earlier with somebody. Anybody have kids? Anybody was a kid? Was anybody a kid at one time? Okay. What do you tell your kids? I don't want you to hang out with those people because they're a bad influence on you, right? Anybody ever heard that in your life or said that? The truth of the matter is it works the other way around too. When you have community and everybody's doing the same system and everybody is doing the consistency together, when you plug a new person in there, it's so much easier to help them become consistent. It's so much easier to help them do the exact same thing. So building community within your businesses, building community is what's going to really amplify your success, and it's going to happen so much faster. We've seen this over on our contact mapping side. When we're bringing this over here now, is that community was the key to changing so many things because you're around a set of people that are like-minded, doing the same kinds of things, and you will ultimately start thinking like them, being like them, and doing the same things that they do. And so when you build community in your teams, in your businesses, it helps them not only become consistent, it will help them overcome the roadblocks. Because how many of you have ever had a roadblock? Something happened, it discouraged you in your business. And if you're by yourself, what happens? You just, But if you're with other people who encourage you, it changes everything. So community is the number one thing outside of the system. That's the perfect marriage. When you put those together, you're going to reinforce the daily action that everybody should be taking. Everybody will be doing the same things, and implementing those systems is going to be so much easier. Adrian, what do you want to add to that?
Hold on. There we go. This hits the nail on the head. And you saw it when we asked you to guess. A lot of you said consistency, and consistency is true, but the actual driver of that consistency is that community, that place for you to be able to plug in. And the other thing that I think is maybe often overlooked is that when we do this stuff in community, it's so much more fun, right? Yeah. That allows it to be, it keeps it from being, people talk a lot of times about entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey, but it doesn't have to be. And so if you can be part of something, if you can be part of a culture, if you can be in a space where you're growing, where it has that family feeling, that is so important and so powerful, something bigger than you. That's exactly right. And so I want to ask you this question: where do you currently experience community in your business? Where are the places where that shows up for you in your life already? In your team, Carrie, that's awesome. I love that. That's great. Let's see it in the chat. Hair on fire. Yep, everywhere. Nowsite's community, my real estate business, in these trainings. We have a private group chat in Now Club. Love it. Events, Nowsite, Facebook groups, events, your team at your church. I love that. Local, regional, national events, the Lost Transition team, Facebook groups. I love this. So there's places where you're tapping into this already. And I want you to reflect on what are the places, what are the qualities of those communities where you most appreciate it, that are meaningful to you. And Marilyn also just hit the nail on the head. I don't experience it in enough places. And I think that is almost everyone. And I think it is especially the people who are out there looking for you, because you have already tapped into some places where that community exists. Most people, and I won't depress you with these like statistical studies, but the world, like, it is statistically a fact that people are disconnected, they're lonely, they're isolated, they don't feel like they belong. They sit at home watching Netflix and doing stuff that, like, they're not plugged in. And so you offering that is incredibly, incredibly valuable, incredibly valuable. And so in that spirit, I want you to know that just like what we have done with systems inside of Now AI, we want to be able to provide that for you. We want to be able to systematize community for you as well. For you personally to be able to plug in to community that helps you to grow your business every single day in a bigger and more practical and more consistent way than ever before. And we want that to be the kind of thing that makes it easy for you to be able to plug your team into that and get them into action, get them into consistency without you having to be the one to create it. Because it can take a lot of energy to be able to do that. And so my strong recommendation to the Blakester who says, oh, do tell, and everyone else here, is make sure that you're there with us at noon on Friday, noon Eastern on Friday. We'll be talking more about what that is going to look like. But we're thinking about that because we want it to be something that, I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to create it from scratch. I simply need to plug in and plug my people in, and we can all grow together.
And how much easier is that, right? I mean, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I have something to plug somebody into, and it makes it that simple. And imagine the acceleration in your business that you're going to get from that. Oh, so, I want to spill the beans.
Can't, not allowed. Move on. All right. This is it, friends. We are coming to the end of our Brand Me Bootcamp. And so my question to you, Thursday, noon Eastern, is the big announcement. So Unag, just to make sure we're all clear, Thursday, noon Eastern. But I want to ask you, what is your number one takeaway from your Brand Me Bootcamp experience? Oh, shoot, I'm sorry, Unag. All right, don't listen to me, just listen to me. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl will set you straight. All right, what's your number one takeaway from your Brand Me Bootcamp experience? I want to see some of these in the chat. It has been an amazing, amazing experience. The avatar, community, I don't know if the community is talking about today or this week. Be authentic, keep it simple. System, I learned to work with, I lost it, with a team. Cohesive brand, community with clarity, everything. Thumbs up is the new middle finger. I love it. That you are your brand. Becoming an influencer was awesome. Duplication, brand, Sam AI, I love. I can't wait to meet all of your AIs. Duplication, branding, being the product. So many great takeaways. And I love the diversity of all these takeaways because there have been so many powerful nuggets. And so here's my encouragement to you. Do not let this be a flash in the pan. Do not let this be something that you just hung out with us for 10 days and then it doesn't make a lasting difference in your life. Stay plugged in, stay tied to what we're doing here. And the next step for you is to come and join us on Thursday, August 10th, noon Eastern. We are going to be doing our beta launch of Now AI. We'll be talking about that secret squirrel announcement of what the community aspect of this is going to look like on that call, and so many more very, very exciting things. I'm not going to be able to sleep between here and Thursday. It is that exciting. And so we have one last thing. David J. Smith hit the nail on the head. So we're going to be on the nose today. Today's code word is code word. All one word, code word. That's your code word for today. So we are wrapping this thing up strong. Code word is the code word. You all have been amazing. I'm going to take this down and we're going to wrap this thing up together. Cheryl, if you're up for it, why don't you jump back up here with me for a second too? This has been such a fantastic experience together and I'm just so grateful. Cheryl has crushed it. Elizabeth, you were so fun to get to train with today and throughout this thing. Tom, if you're still here, Dad, thank you. You've been incredible as well. And what a great experience this was. Anything you want to share before we wrap it up, Cheryl?
I'm super stoked. I think you guys did a phenomenal job. I had the best time ever at the Brand Me Bootcamp. I love all the people that have been a part of it, especially all of our guests and the things that we kind of get to know them from inside of the chat. I felt like we all grew a little bit closer because of the boot camp. Great job, Elizabeth. Great job, Adrian. Loved day 10. You guys crushed it. It was the grand finale. I mean, what day is better than that? Loved it. Thanks, guys.
So awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. Have an awesome rest of your day. We'll see you Thursday and take care.